Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. Gerrymandering is a thing that exists, especially in America. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen elsewhere. It does. Here in Canada, however, there are certain ways we mitigate this. Bipartisan committees. There's Elections Canada that makes sure that all Canadians have enough polling locations and ensures that we have boundaries and enough representation. And so every now and then they make sure, okay, do we need to add seats to the House of Commons, our version of the House of Representatives? And if, some places need to be split off from one another. This usually coincides with a rise in population. The average they try and look for, and again, it's not perfect, but the average they try and look for is anywhere between 50,000 to 75,000 per riding, which is like our version of a congressional district. This is how we ensure that a fairly equal number of people, even if some of the ridings are huge and cover an area the size of Texas, that the same amount of people more or less have the same opportunity to make their voice heard at the federal level. Now, in America, you don't really have any kind of protection for this. It's all at the whims of whoever controls the various legislatures and committees therein. So if they're Democrats, they try and make it rigged for the Democrats. If they're Republicans, they try and rig it for Republicans. And the fact that there are now several, memes out there and articles about how just utterly ridiculous some of your congressional districts are is what's bothering me. But what bothered me most recently was this news out of Kansas that they found a way, they being the Republicans, to make it so that within the various new redistricting, they would give them 4 Republican legislators and 0 Democrats. And they say America is the greatest democracy in the world. What a fucking farce. If you have to redraw borders to the point of absolute nonsense so that your team can win, you are in no ways a person who believes in democracy and fairness and representation. You do not actually believe in democracy and the people's voice. You care about power and influence. You clearly are threatened by people and their power and their voice if you feel the need to do this. If you feel the need to rig it so that your opponent can't win because your ideas and your policies would not be strong enough otherwise, that's really on you. Not on your opponent, nor is that on the populace who votes for either one of you. It's disgusting and shameful. But I know I'm preaching to the choir on this one because they don't care. It is about power. And they'll openly gloat about this in committees or on Twitter. Oh, you got to vote for us so that we can overturn Roe v. Wade, or we can cut Medicare and do all these terrible things that we deeply hold to be true, even though there's all evidence to the contrary. But gerrymandering is a problem because you are choosing your voters rather than the voters choosing you. That's not democracy. That's feudalism. And that is something that should not be tolerated in what's supposed to be a democracy, the greatest democracy in the world, according to those who celebrate this system. This very system that continues to absolutely misrepresent people. And you have incredibly ridiculous results where the Electoral College can choose a winner rather than a majority popular vote. I'm sorry, I thought you guys were a democracy down there. The whole situation is ridiculous, and the idea of gerrymandering is so utterly contemptible that I really struggle to find the words to express just how truly terrifying, disgusting, shameful, insidious, and evil it is. And the fact that there doesn't seem to be enough Americans who care about this and are fighting against it at all levels is definitely what's bothering me today.